to just understanding Microsoft partners. 2 is the actual solution partner designation. 3 is the Cloud Ascent program that we work through, and then we do walkthroughs. The walkthroughs, if you look at the thing here, there's a partner center walkthrough that is lights out because we basically only focus on the things that you need to understand. Then the second one is the marketplace creating an offer walkthrough that we have, as well as a co-sell ready or co-sell registration process, which we feel is really the important steps today for partners, really understanding marketplace and co-sell. Now, we probably won't be doing that today because we're going to just focus on the SPDs. However, for both of you, in the link that's in the chat window, you have access to the PowerPoint that has every walkthrough with arrows. Click on here, click on there, click 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can share that with your partner base if you'd like to. Happy to do it. Don't worry about there's no copyright on it. It's just helpful.
Awesome.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, the analogy I use in Microsoft is Microsoft comes out with like a salmon. They're like, hey, everybody, all the partners, here's the salmon. Isn't this amazing? And they're like, partner base is like, yes, partner, here's a salmon. And they're like, okay, it's pink, it's red, it's got 3 dots on the tail, and it's going to be the best salmon you can cook ever. Now, do you want it? Do you want it? And then the partner base is like, yeah, I do. And then they go, hold on a second. They get up and they throw it in the ocean. And then they tell the partner base, go find me the 3-dotted salmon, right? You guys kind of same thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. So that's it's tough to work with Microsoft. It's tough to understand what to do, what to align, what to align with and whatnot. So let me go ahead and I'm going to hit on these things pretty easily or pretty quickly, and then we'll get right into SPDs. But fundamentally, and I think we all understand this, is our partners, they collaborate with Microsoft, right, to deliver innovative solutions. Then Microsoft provides that front end margin they get through you guys, right, and then they provide nice incentives in the back end, right, based on their partner level, right, which then creates opportunities for market development funds. Okay, awesome, right? We understand that. Then they implement the stuff, and then what we're finding today, and you probably would agree with this, is that they are, we're using Microsoft to start all the conversations these days. I think AI is sucking the wind out of any other competitor out there, right? And I'd hate to be another competitor just trying to launch a product right now when you have Microsoft AI as like literally every conversation. That must be tough, But anyways, that's what the partner function is. And then what I want to do here is actually just talk about the history of the solution partner designation. And I'll be curious to see if you guys agree with some of the things I'm saying. But from the history behind it, and I love this slide because if you look at the slide, you have the big tower, right? And I think like the Microsoft strategists are at the very top, and then you have us, the distributors and our partner enablement and partners at the very bottom. And sometimes that does not translate, right? Back and forth, what they're thinking, right? So if we look at the history of the solution partner designation, let's go back to 2015, 2016, right? When we had BPOS came out, a change to Office 365, right? And that was amazing, right? Okay, cool, that's coming out. And the only thing we had to worry about then was telling our partner base to tell their customers, hey, you no longer have an Exchange server on-prem and you get 5 downloads. Amazing, right? And back then, silver and gold were actually not meant, they were pre-cloud certifications, silver and gold, right? And they weren't meant really for the cloud explosion, right? And you could get a silver cloud platform with 1 Azure admin and $10,000 in Azure consumer revenue, right? And then you get a gold if you had 2 Azure admins and 100,000 in ACR. You get gold, awesome, okay, great, right? But the history, if you think about it, 2016, 2017, there's a lot of innovation, right? M comes out, the new M SKU, but then we have the pandemic, right? And then the pandemic, all of a sudden, we had the massive acceleration for cloud adoption, right? And that's across the board, from Teams migration to Azure migration. I mean, holy Moses. who knew that that was going to really help our industry, just blow it out of the park, right? But with that, I think in 2020 and 2021, Microsoft started waking up in the morning with two black eyes. And they kept thinking, I'm not even in this fight. What's going on? Why do I keep getting these black eyes, meaning that customer complaints? And so they noticed that a lot of our customers were complaining about, hey, we interviewed 3 partners to do an Azure migration, and we went with the gold partner, but they had no idea what they're doing, and they messed up our migration. Or another one, we used a gold partner, it was Gold Data Cloud Platform, and for our VDI, and our VDI got, the deployment is terrible. Or, another one that I heard was, we used this company that said they're a gold modern workplace partner, right? And they had no idea about the Teams migration, and we tried to do it, and it was an epic fail. So I think that, Microsoft started to think, gosh, this is not working out too well. There's a lot of innovation that's happening, and our partners aren't skilling up, right, to do that. And I think we can all kind of agree to that. I mean, we've all been talked about, right, of skilling up and understanding. So Microsoft decided, okay, 2022, we're going to roll out new partner solution designations with great fanfare until they explained what it was, right? And they're like, hey, you guys can specialize. And that makes sense. But the idea was to really kind of force partners to skill up, basically, skill up their resources. And then they said, okay, we're going to sandwich silver and gold together, and we're going to give the gold benefits, right, to somebody who has an SPD. However, the attainment that they put out there is what has caused probably the biggest sense of consternation throughout our industry, right? Attainment. They based it on getting gold attainment, really, and that is a struggle. So, if you look at the history, there's been over 5,000 net new cloud workloads since 2016. Just think about that, right? And if you think about it, yeah, how can we be experts at 6,000 things? Just not happening. So I think, retrospectively, if I look at it, and if we upskill our resources, our internal sales engineers, our engineers, we're going to help with this one thing. I call it the silent killer of partner profitability, which is your technical resources are overutilized, and your partner base is talking to their technical resources and saying, hey, are you really busy? How busy are you? And then you'll always get back from the technical folks, I'm at 125%, right? Well, they would be, because they're focusing on trying to be the jack of all trades for over 200 line card items that they're selling to the public, right? And they're the best fax repair person in the world, but they need to bone up on the latest, greatest, or the latest technology. And the last point I'll reference here, and I think this is poignant, especially when you're talking to your partner base, is, hey, a killer for profitability comes down to, if my technical resources, who says they understand Azure, we put together an SOW that says 10 hours to do the implementation, and then my engineer takes 17 hours to do it, that's a killer for my deal and overall profitability, right? So I think if we look at it from both perspectives, I think it's a great thing that they came out with solution partner designations, because we can't specialize in 6,000 workloads, but we can specialize in certain areas. Cool, right? Okay, so that's what I think is important. Now, I have a special offer that we have cleared by Microsoft for any of your partners too. So both of you realize this. Skilling has been the biggest issue, right? Getting people to take the certs and get the certs. So what we did is we partnered with a offshore resource that will provide any of our partners the skilling certificates that they need to get the solution partner designation as a bridge until they bring their person up to speed and gets that actual cert. Okay, it's at a greatly reduced price of $20 to $25 an hour, about 40 hours worth of assignment, but the partner also gets that technical resource as well to use. cleared it through Microsoft. They're fine with me talking about it. If you want more details, we can talk about it after I get through SPDs. Okay. So that's really the function there. I think some of our challenges, a lot of our partners go through is, business valuation. How do we stack up, right? Navigation of the partner portal. What should we focus on, right? I think a lot of partners want to know what to focus on. And I think in our industry, right now, we're at a very special place where we can almost reinvent ourselves. Okay, we have it's kind of like almost like a pit stop, right? We've been running a NASCAR for 200 laps. We need to change the tires, man. We need to change the gas. We need to do something different, right? I think that right now, because of all this innovation, we might want to consider thinking about how we're going to market, right? Maybe we don't want to be that MSP that has 200 line items, but we want to be more of a specialized partner that is actually solving problems for vertical industries. Idea, right? What I go into later on in this partner profitability is really about sales and marketing, helping our partners understand sales and marketing much different. We're atrophied. We like to have the Tyrannosaurus Rex arms when it comes to sales and marketing. This is sales and this is marketing, right? Thunder and lightning, right? It's just atrophied because of the way that we acquire customers today versus the way the general industries acquire customers. So that's a problem, right? Now, the other thing I just want to call out here, and I don't know if you do this with your current partner base, but I don't know if you talk to them about advanced specialization. But my key thing with all partners we talk to is, okay, we want to attain the highest, which is an advanced specialization, because that unlocks the ridiculous amount of money that's out there. Kayla, do you talk to them about, have you any feedback? I'm just curious, like from your side, on getting the next level.
I'm not really partner facing, so okay. I don't know. Yeah, I just kind of like am behind the scenes putting out communication, but I don't actually talk to partners.
Okay, awesome. Okay, no problem. How about you, Oliver? Have you heard or talked to them?
I do, for sure. Like my background, I've worked for large partners, like large Microsoft partners, kind of most of my career. So I've seen a lot of the benefit of kind of playing the game and utilizing the program, right? So I do, like any partner that I talk to who has an inkling to do something, some sort of specialized thing, like solve some problem with Azure. I do talk to them about the specializations as much as I can, because you're right, there's just buckets of money out there that a lot of people kind of forget about, which is crazy to me, because you shouldn't forget about money. That's like the point of a lot of this, right? Like that's why you have a business. So don't forget about that.
Exactly. There's 4 times the revenue. Get this. If you have an SPD versus having the advanced, 4 times. Crazy.
I didn't know that figure, but I love it. I'll reiterate that.
And I actually have 2 slides today that are part of the solution partner one that I'm showing you that will just blow you away, that you can share with any of your partners as to the reason why. That don't stop at SPD, continue and get the advanced specialization. Yeah. So we'll talk about that. Okay, how about Microsoft Co-op? Do you guys talk to your partners about Co-op?
Yeah, sometimes it's just locked and they're like, oh, I don't know how to use this, and then they forget about it. And again, like that's just an easy, call it a half an hour phone call to unlock 5 figures or better of money. Like it's crazy not to, I think.
It's we found last December, one partner had $162,000 in unprocessed funds.
Yeah.
And then I said, hey, let's look back the last 3 years. It turned out they lost almost $1 million because they didn't spend it. And it's like, oh
no,
my goodness.
The last partner that I worked for before I came over to Era, we had a dedicated, like a Microsoft program person. Like this was the stuff that he did. He paid attention to Co-op. He paid attention to backend. And I think he was probably worth his weight in gold. Like we did a lot of stuff with Microsoft, and it made a ton of sense to have a full-time guy just doing that, which I mean kind of speaks to like the complexity of the program a little bit. But
And frankly, my company, the Cranzer Group, we actually act as alliance managers for large organizations. And actually, we actually are partnered with the Aero team and all of your PDMs. Right now, we're doing an initiative where we're helping. Actually, I think we have 9 Aero partners right now that we're helping right now get their SPDs. Oliver, we're actually more connected than you even may understand.
Yeah, no, and I've got plenty that we could probably feed you too. So
awesome. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into this is the break. Let's get into the SMB paths, okay, for solution partner designations. So what I'm going to show you here is, Microsoft is not tone deaf with this whole thing, and they said, okay, look, we understand that our partners, there's a lot of our partners that service Azure customers between $500 and $1,000, right? Not 1,000 and above. So, and we also understand that our partners have trouble getting the solution, the skilling, because they don't have enough people that have it, right? So we're going to actually come with a offer that's going to help them out. So what they did is said, okay, we're going to have 2 paths. One that is called the enterprise path, which is basically whatever they're doing today. Okay, whatever's in the portal today, that's the enterprise path. But you can qualify to be an SMB partner and go down the smaller path, okay, which basically says we've adjusted the requirements. So we've lowered the requirements for net customer adds, we've lowered the skilling requirements, and then we've also lowered we're allowing points for prerequisite certifications. Okay, and I'll get into this in just a moment, right? But the other thing that I really like about this is they said, okay, we're also going to allow virtual machines to be counted as deployments. Okay, that's the main thing, right? They're going to allow virtual machines. Okay, and then there's a couple slides here that they have some real nuances. So please, both of you, if you want me to just kind of go back over it and kind of look at it, just let me know, okay? And I'm happy to recover something because there are some nuances. So these are just some of the challenges. A lot of our partner base don't understand it. They're confused. Why should we get it? Why should we focus on it? And I think what I'm going to show you now will be the real linchpin. But we need to understand the fundamentals of where partners land, right? So one, we start with membership, right? These are the partners that just sign up to become an MPN member, nothing, right? The second level is partner success, which is they sign up with the distributor like yourselves. And on top of that, they buy what's called the MAPS program, which is the Microsoft Action Pack subscription, $500. Gets you 5 licenses, 10 licenses, run your business, kind of get started, right? You start getting small, tiny incentives. Next level is solution partner designation, right? And then the top end is the specialization and expert offerings. Okay, so we've lost so-and-so, that's okay. So the benefits, I think the way to look at this is one, encouraging business development because you're getting a bunch of Azure credits, right? And then IURs, so that's good. Number 2, it's going to help increase your license position, right? So increasing customer reach, it's going to take you and raise you on the marketplace. You're going to be higher listings than other partners. And then lastly, for utilization, I believe that it's going to help our partners be able to implement more, faster, quicker, better. Okay, right? So these are intrinsic benefits, but benefits nonetheless. Okay, so these are important slide because on the left-hand side, the given is Microsoft's going to help us with GTM resources. Great, sounds good. On the right-hand side, this is important because SPD gets you access to MCI engagements, which means that you're getting the Microsoft Commerce incentives, which are the back-end rebates, right? So that's the first one. But now, if you get the advanced specialization, then partners get access to deployment funds, okay? So they can actually get the deployment pieces of it, right? So deployment funds, where you can ask Microsoft for money to do the implementation, as well as you can stack them all. You can do an assessment, you can do a deployment, you can do the Azure incentive. It's amazing. And then the gobs of money is just crazy. Okay, so this is the benefits that you get if you get any one of the 3 Azure solution partner designations, right? So you get 6,000 in benefits, bulk uploads, you get a Dynamics 365 to run your business. I like that. 100 E3 licenses, right? And then 100 Windows Server Standard 2022s. Not bad, right? I think, and it's the same for all three. Okay, that's what you're going to get, which I think basically goes to gold. Okay, so now here's the dollars and cents, Oliver. This is unbelievable. Okay, on the left-hand side, you're going to see you get the margin, right? So we get now I'll back up. My example here is in Azure VDI deal, virtual desktop infrastructure, and we're going to set a number of $100,000 as the total ACR over the year. That's the target. Okay, so that's just round numbers, right? Round numbers. Okay, so look at this. You get 4 and 2%. As you get the 4% for the MCI and then 2% accelerator, right, for selling this VDI deal, and then you get 15% from your distributor. 21% total. Not bad. Now, for Azure specialized partners on the right-hand side, you see that now you can get 4,000 to 5,000 for a workshop, and then stack that with a Azure-led, deployment. You can get, in this case, they say $1 million ACR deal. You can get $80,000 to $100,000 to offset the deployment. Okay, that's a little big, right? But on the right-hand side, check out the bounty. Acquisition bounty. You bring in a VDI deal, we're going to give you $9,000. And then on top of that, we're going to give you 30% of the ACR. Okay. So let's equate that to actual dollars and cents.
So that's like 50 something percentage of the ACR plus the, an extra like 5,000, something like that.
Yeah. And the $9,000 bounty.
Oh yeah. Okay. So that $100,000 deal, you're getting like 50 grand.
80,000.
Oh, 80 grand. Nice.
Yeah, because like on the left hand side, 21, right? But on the right hand side, you see for this so in this case, we get 5,000 for a solution assessment. And then
I didn't even see that before.
Yeah, we do the migration. That's 20,000 we asked Microsoft for. And then the bounty with the nurture, 30% of the 100 grand ACR. Holy shnikes, right? Now we have 80% or 80,000 off of a $100,000 deal. Ridiculous. Holy Moses. And that's why my big thing is we all have to make sure our partners get to advanced specialization, because that's where the buckets are. That's where the money is. Okay. All right. Let me show you here. So this is the same as it always has been. 70 out of 100 points you still have to get, right? You have to score in performance, skilling, or customer success. So it's one of the three things that we have to do. Okay, but let me show you this next slide is actually a nuance to it. So let me go ahead and get it closer up here. So for data and AI, okay, if you notice, it shows you the max points, right? Performance, net customer adds, right? And then you can look at deployments on the bottom, okay? Usage growth, okay? But you look at intermediate certs, okay? It says 40 points. So Microsoft says, well, you don't have to have any advanced certs to start scoring. So that's the important difference between data and AI and the other two. Now, if you look at the other two, the nuance here is after you score your intermediate certs, you have to get at least one advanced cert to enable scoring in the skilling component. Okay, let me restate that. So you may go in there and you may have your intermediate certs, right, for digital app innovation, but you don't have any one of the advanced ones, and you score 0 points.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, cool. Okay.
And you can't get a designation with 0 points in a subcategory, right?
Exactly. You have to score in all three.
Yeah.
100%. So yeah, so there's interesting. Okay, so let me show you requirements for performance. Okay, so this is the difference. This is the main difference. So Microsoft realized that, shoot, majority of our partners are SMB, and they have a lot of ACR accounts that are between 500 and 1,000. Okay, so the way it is today is the partners have to have net customer adds have to be $1,000 or more to even count towards net customer adds, right? That's today. Now, July 1st, that changes, okay? Where it's going to be any customer you have in the trailing 12 months that's between $500 and $1,000 will score as a net new customer add, okay? And that's because you're on the SMB path. Now, in order to be on the SMB path or take advantage of it, you have to have a less than 1 million in Azure consume revenue that you're monitoring, okay? And
Across all your customers?
Yeah, across all your customers, less than 1 million. And 80% of them have to be between $500 and $1,000 in ACR, okay? And then you throw out the other 20%, okay? That gets you into the SMB path, which then lowers the certifications, okay? Now, let me show you, this slide is confusing. This one's the best one to explain it. Okay, now on the bottom left-hand corner, you have the enterprise, right? And this is the way it is today, okay? If you're doing enterprise and your customers are over 1,000, you have to have 2 Azure admins and 2 Azure solution architects to meet the prerequisites, and then you have to have at least 1 scoring certificate in order to all the points actually start being activated, okay? So for enterprise, remember, it's 4 points per cert. So in the enterprise scenario, you would get 16 points for the prerequisites, and then you'd get an additional 4 points, which would make it 20 if you had a scoring certification.
Yep.
But you get 0 if you only have prerequisites. Now, if you're on the SMB path, basically they're saying, okay, we're going to give you a little bit of a break. We're going to say, okay, all you need is 1 Azure admin and 1 Azure solution architect.
And that's your 8 points right there.
Yes, 8 points.
Okay.
And then you have to have, but you do have to get 1 scoring cert to complete it, total of 12 points.
Okay.
It's just
so you still get 0 with just the prerequisites though?
No, actually, I'm sorry. If you're on the SMB path, that's 1 caveat. You actually get points for your intermediates.
Okay, so you had 1 guy with Azure admin and solution architect expert, and then that would be 8 points.
No, they have to be unique individuals.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The prerequisites have to be unique. The scoring could be that 1 unique, and he's got the scoring certs.
Okay.
But yeah, the prerequisites.
So you'd have 16 points then, because Azure admin associate is a prereq for architect expert. So that'd be like an 8-point individual, I guess, and then you'd have 2 of them.
Yeah. You're right. You're right. Or you could have 1 Azure admin. That's all he has. The other person would have Azure admin and Azure solution architect, right? And then maybe that same person is getting the advanced cert.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
All right. Now, requirements for customer success. The main big change is they actually allowed for virtual machines to be counted now, where they didn't in the past. So don't read into that. That's a bad thing where it says accept virtual machines. No, starting July 1st, virtual machines will be counted. Deployments are the easiest one to get. Now, usage growth. This is the difference. Is Microsoft, there's a lot of communications that have come out saying that for usage growth, you have to have 20% ACR growth year over year, right? But that's a misnomer. What they're looking for is just growth. So for every percentage point you get in growth, you get 1 point towards your ACR growth. So some of our smaller partners, maybe they're looking at 10% or 11% or 12%, right? So they can get 10, 11, or 12 points.
Yep.
Okay. But it's not all or nothing. It's not 20% or nothing. Okay. The interesting thing is our ACR grows compound annual growth rate is like 27%. So most partners shouldn't have a problem. People just end up consuming more and buying more. So interesting. So those are the nuances. Now, the last thing here to really understand is the 1 million of these levels. So if you have under $1 million and 80% of your customers are less than 1,000 but more than 500, then you automatically get put into the SMB path via the partner center.
Okay, so that's not even something that you have to select. That's just sort
No.
of like what you qualify to do.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Because if you look at the
is there a difference in like partner benefits or like the Azure Migrate and Modernize projects that you can do if you're using the SMB path? So the SMB path, like, are those the same like Azure infrastructure, right? Is that the same designation when it comes to like things that you can do, money you can get, benefits that you can get? It's just an easier way to get to the Azure infrastructure designation.
That's exactly what it is.
Okay.
Okay. It's exactly what it is. It just gives you, yeah, because you get the 6,000, you get the access to the MCI stuff and to these different, workshops or threat assessments that you can do. Yeah. And then you just work towards your advanced, But yes, you do get all the same benefits. Okay. In your slide deck, you're going to have these 2 slides, which is basically just a reference slide that you can send out to your partner base saying, hey, these are the maximum points. This explains to you enterprise path or SMB path, right, for them, or digital app and innovation and infrastructure. So I'm not going to go over these because these are just the same things we just talked about, but good thing to print out. And so that they cannot understand maximum. All right, let's go to the next one. Last one is this thing called Cloud Weeks for partners. And not a bad thing, actually. Microsoft is putting on, if any of your partners that you talk to are about to get that skilling requirement and you go take some tests, this may not be a bad idea to go check out. So to help them along with that. So
sure. Yeah, I've done a few of those. I think at some point you get like a free exam too, right? Usually as part of this.
You sure do. You sure do.
Okay.
Yeah. Exam vouchers. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So really that's the nuance behind it. That really is the solution partner path. Now the offer, I just want to kind of go over it because you might talk to partners that they're like, hey man, I can't get the skilling thing. We're never going to get it. It's too hard. Have them contact us. It's called Skilling as a Service. Basically, it's about $3,000 a month.
Okay.
But it gets you.
Is there a time limit on it? Because it sounds like it's meant like with the intent that they're going to do it themselves at some point. But is there a, like a cutoff? Like we're kicking you out of the house. It's time to fly on your own kind of deal, or is it just kind of indefinite?
Well, when I brought this to Microsoft, because I wanted to make sure I could say this.
Yeah, right.
They were basically, they looked at it and said, well, number one, does the partner get that resource? Do they actually get that person who has that designation, right? Or that certificate? And I said, yeah, they get them for like 40 hours a month. We're like, great. That's really all we care about. So
as long as they're paying for it, I guess, kind of whatever. It's like you're extending their bench a little bit and then those certs count for them. How do you guys, because I know that for like associating your Microsoft Learn profile with a company, I think there's a limit on how often you can do that, like every 6 months or something. It's kind of a long limit.
So loophole, baby. There are, you can associate your certificate to 2 different partners.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is that the limit? It's 2?
It's 2.
All right.
Yeah. 2. It's in font.
So those guys could do like 1 partner per every 3 months or something then, if you kind of like monkey barred across. If you were like using that resource across multiple partners over the course of a year.
You could. This company we work with, they have over 500 certified engineers.
Oh, okay. They have like a big
and
pool.
I think their motivation is to keep that client, paying $3,000 over the year. But Microsoft did mention, they said, hey, make sure people know that this is a bridge, a temporary bridge, and the deal is good for 1 year.
Okay. So Microsoft, I mean, they, at the end of the day, they want partners who are competent. So the idea is to like bring them a little bit closer to the carrot, so they care about actually doing the stuff. They're not throwing up their hands and saying, "Oh, that's impossible. I can't do it." Get them sort of invested a little bit, and then they'll find a way to take some certifications. Like the exams, honestly, they're not that hard. Partners can generally do it.
It's just that they focus on too many other things.
Yeah, no, I mean, like you said at the beginning, right? I'm like one of our technical solution architects here at Arrow, and I am responsible for modern work in Azure. Like that's just, call it 1,000 different technologies or something.
Yeah,
it's a lot.
It's crazy. That's
so
crazy.
I know exactly. Yeah, right.
Yeah. So I mean, this thing is. I like the way they're doing it, and I think I like the way that this offer kind of gives a bridge, right? Of because there's so much money there, right? That also the MCI incentives, and you're missing out. Gives them a chance. Gives them a chance to understand it. Plus, the way I look at it is, you're getting an actual Azure solution architect or an advanced guy. Use them in the back office, right? You don't have to make them customer facing, but I mean, it's going to be great because you're going to understand, right, how to properly architect something.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So, okay.
No, I mean, at the end of the day, if you can get a partner just moving towards a goal, like that's, turn a flywheel a little bit. They get a little bit of initial success. They tend to grow. So at the end of the day, that's somebody's business, like they want it to grow.
Yeah, totally. Have you heard about the Cloud Ascent program, propensity lists?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I've dug around a little bit in there. I was trying to kind of, because there's like Power BI templates and stuff, but I'm not the greatest with like actually building out Power BI reports. But I wanted to kind of build something for our partners. It was like, hey, like this shows that you're close to, this designation or this specialization or something, and then do like a push to kind of help them achieve that. I think that would be awesome.
So I think that's really what these workshops were kind of designed to do. So we'll get you the link to the rest of the workshops to get signed up. But maybe you want to send your partners here, because I'll take care of them. I'll get them on the right the narrow, the right path. Because in the workbook that we have is also solution partner designation mapping, where we take a look at what they're currently getting, and then we map the resources to what they need to do, and then give them guidance.
Okay.
So,
no, at the end of the day, right? If you guys, if we're all sort of helping these partners grow, like it's good for everybody.
Yeah.
And it's good for the customer at the end of the day, right? Like you kind of at the beginning when you were like, hey, some of these partners were like, I worked with this partner, they're a gold partner, but they blew everything up. There's a lot of partners out there that probably could, learn something and grow. I don't know.
Yeah.
A lot.
No, I'm with you.
And it's a lot to deal with. Like if you're like a, call it a 3, 4, 5-man shop, like there's a lot of complexity.
Yes, there is. All right, so I'm going to show you here. Okay, and this is what you can do with your partners. Very simple. You can show them in Partner Center where to go. What we want to do is actually go to Insights. See where Insights is? You tell them go to Insights. I have this, and then on the very bottom left-hand corner is this thing called Downloads Hub. Okay, and this is a program that's actually been enabled for all partners currently. Okay, and what it's meant to do. Okay, this is where they'll create the new report. It's very simple. You can walk any partner through this basic data advance, and then what we're going to do is we're going to download the Azure propensity. Okay. And then M365 propensity, okay? And then we go lifetime, give it a report name, and then we push download now. Okay, now let me tell you what that report is, okay? Because you're like, why would I want to do that? Okay, so Microsoft has put their money where their mouth is when it comes to building a modern data warehouse, okay, right? Using data and AI. And that's where Cloud Ascent comes in, okay? Basically, it's building profitability with machine learning and AI, right? So what they've done is they've understand that there's 3 solution areas: Azure, modern workplace, and business apps. And this whole idea of bringing in millions of data points to make better decisions kind of coincides with either Azure, modern workplace, or business apps. I'm going to skip through this because you understand the business segments that are there. But what Cloud Ascent and machine learning is, okay, what this is really is, one, they're going to use web crawlers to collect and scan billions of customer signals by pinging company domains, monitoring blog posts, press releases, social streams, and technical forums. Then they're feeding that sucker into machine learning models that generate the structured data set of sales and marketing predictions, right? Then lastly, they're going to optimize that and get it out to the partner base. Okay, so what's interesting though to note is, and this is like the Valhalla of what we would love to be able to do with our customer base, because a lot of our partners, they set it and forget it. They forgot, right? And they're like, oh my gosh, I said it, I forgot it. But what Microsoft is doing is saying, okay, we're going to look at all of your customers. We're going to look at their browsing history. What are they browsing for? Then number 2, we're going to look at their browsing history and what are they downloading, right? Content syndication. Then we're going to look at the win-loss just in CRM. And then lastly, we're going to be searching your customers for firmographics, which basically state if a company has a new round of funding or bringing net new people in, right? That kind of thing.
Yeah, if they have open recs on LinkedIn or something.
Yeah, totally, right? Okay, so now this is what I think is super cool, okay? There's 4 different things you tell your partners to look at. When they download this report, like I was just showing you, you're gonna have all this data about all your customers, but you wanna filter it based on these 4 clusters, okay? So if I had 100 clients in that report, I would go to the filter, I would put Act Now. And basically, it's gonna tell us, out of the 100 customers, there's 16 of them that are ready, willing, and able to buy today based on all of that scoring, right? Then there's ones that evaluate and nurture and educate. So I think this is the perfect thing for our partner base to go back to see, who do we start conversations again with and why, right? Based on what they've been doing. Now, the models that they're doing there's 4 models, right? One is the white space model, which are predictions for existing Microsoft customers where they don't have a product and or net new prospect customers, right? The next one is upsell. Okay, these are for potential upsell opportunities, right? I love the third one, which says Azure Next Workload. That would be actually in.
So this is like Defender to Sentinel or something, right? Next logical workload.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah.
Defender, that's a perfect example. Yeah. I kind of sometimes think like, well, they're maxed out on CPU and RAM on the virtual machines they have deployed. Maybe they want to move up, right?
Yeah. Maybe they need to scale out. Maybe they should use AKS.
Exactly. Do some containerizing, right? 100%. Okay. So those are the 4 models, right? So all the partner has to do. Now, I don't have any clients in mind. So let me just see. I just want to show you.
And I got to jump here in a couple of minutes. Sorry, somebody just dumped a calendar invite on me. And it's, partner facing, so I should probably make it.
No problem. Actually, I was ending here just a second anyways for you.
Sure.
But when you download this report, you'll go, see it says no. You'll go over to...
I'm still seeing the deck, I think.
Okay. Let me share, actually. Okay. Do you see this where it says, you're going to get this big report, right, with all these columns, but this is the one you look at. What is the cluster? So I have one customer myself, right? So I only have this, but other partners would have 100. And then they would filter this based on educate, act now, that type of thing, right? Sure. And they just give us some really cool data, right? Service info, very low.
Oh, it has EA. Yeah, that's a good one.
Right.
Clean that up.
So, yeah. So anyways, I just want to share this with you. I think this is a good thing that you can bring to your partners and say, hey, let's look at your Azure customers right now. Let's see what the next logical workload is.
Yeah.
And then you can do that.
No, I'm glad to see more people talk as like a partner enabler. I think this kind of stuff is some of the most beyond like technical upskilling. This is the most impactful stuff we can do for partners.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
cool.
All right, sir. So with the other when we have the partners involved in here, we actually go through Partner Center walkthrough. We actually touch all the buttons and click through everything. So I just want to share that. If you have any partners, send them this way, no problem. But otherwise, Oliver, thanks so much for just joining. It's good to talk to you, bud.
Sure, man. It's good to meet you. Yeah. No, I've heard some of our channel managers talking about Crancer Group, and I saw this and I was like, oh, sweet. Yeah. No, I like what you guys are doing.
Awesome. All right, brother. Have a great afternoon. Let you go.
Yeah, you as well. Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.